Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi Matsuribayashi. Let's do this again then. I just spent 30 minutes doing like an update for the channel. And I was like, no, let's redo that. It's just like all over the place and chaotic. I mean, it's not going to be any different here, though, is it? Trying to do this again. Essentially, it's the 17th, so it's been nearly 2 weeks since the last record session. And I'll try to keep this brief, at least briefer than when I previously tried to freaking do this little update for the channel. Because on the 11th I uploaded the 10-year anniversary video on my main channel because it's been 10 years since started. And Canon was the first Let's Play I ever uploaded, which was on that day 10 years ago. So that's what that was all about. And I forgot to talk about this channel. I mean, I mentioned it a few times in the video, but I went over my main channel, like the future of my main channel currently in mind. It's just like how things are play out for the rest of the year. It'll be more or less the same upload wise, do one last October special, and then after that October would just be any other month rather than stressing myself out doing multiple LPs in preparation for October that I've been doing for the past 10 years. Let's play in horror games during that time, and it's a pain in the ass and stressing me out. So yeah, that I generally gave an update on where that channel will likely be going throughout the year and afterwards. But I didn't say the same about this channel, because the thing is, I have no plans for an LP after this arc is concluded here, which is why I'm bringing it up, because I might, continue doing Let's Plays on this channel, the VN channel here, but there is that some possibility maybe not at the same time. And the reason for that isn't first I was thinking maybe it's because of the schedule. It's kind of burning me out. I don't think it's the schedule, although it is a bit of a pain in the ass, but this channel is a lot more relaxed. An upload every 4 days as opposed to once every 2 days with the main channel. So it's a lot more relaxed, so I don't think that's really the issue. Maybe be a bit of the issue, but not really the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that, over the years I've just kind of been visual novels just don't really interest me as much nowadays. Because, over the years, Canon, Planets, Shuffle, Dark Carper 2, Katawa Shoujo, what do these 5 novels have in common? They all take place in school, last year of high school to be exact, and they all involve a protagonist that, can end up with a variety of different girls. And it's so repetitive. It's always the same. I mean, the story is different. Each character is different and all that. But it's more or less the same theme every time, really, when you just, look at it. And I'm just so bored of that kind of theme. But, the saying that is I've been doing the Higurashi novels for the past few years. I'm not bored of the Higurashi series, because the Higurashi series is different. It doesn't follow that pattern, because it's totally different. That's why I also suggested maybe an LP Katagra and its sequel Karano... is it Karano Shoujo, or is it... Yeah, it is Karano Shoujo. I get it mixed up with Katawa Shoujo. I mean, they're two entirely different novels. But Katagra and Karano Shoujo, different theme. It's murder mystery with a detective protagonist. There's none of that, protagonist in last year of high school, trying to, well, not even trying to, the girls just fall head over heels with the protagonist. But you get the idea, none of that. Sure, there are moments like that, I guess. More so in Karano Shoujo than Katagra. But, it has a different theme to it. It's not just the same cliche shit, essentially. That's why I'm kind of like interested in maybe I say checking them out. I've played both of those before, so I know the story on it. It's like potentially let's play those. I can see. And then on the other hand, even though it falls into the same pattern as I just said, where it's kind of burnt out on, is Little Busters. Because it's been, I don't know how many years, probably at least 9. Because surprisingly, in my New Year, not my New Year one, just the 10-year anniversary video. It's like I'd made a list of every Let's Play I've done over the years, which is a lot, over 70 odd. And I made notes, like, when, like, the first year of LPs, like, and at the end of the first year, 2011, I'd made a note that the only LPs that were ongoing into the next year at that point were Planet and Echo the Dolphin. And I was like, holy shit, I completed canon. 200 odd parts within 1 year. Think about that. Compared to all the other novels I've Let's Played since that take considerably longer, if they're, of a similar length. The upload schedule has changed so much. Like back then, I'd upload like 4 videos a day or more. It was insane. But 10 years later, kind of burnt out on that, so don't upload as frequently, or even record as frequently for that matter. But anyways, Little Busters was the plan originally to be the next LP after Clannad, but the thing is, during my Clannad LP back in the day, I got a copyright strike from Visual Arts. But it wasn't necessarily it had nothing to do with Clannad itself, it had to do with Little Busters. Because in the one part of my Clannad Let's Play, I mean, I've mentioned this various times, various points, but the copyright strike was for Little Busters because in the video I'd mentioned the anime adaptation, but I didn't realize at the time because I've heard about it online but didn't realize that it hadn't actually been officially announced. And when I was like going back from my videos to, note down all the Let's Plays that I'd done for the 10-year anniversary video, I'd noticed the thumbnail for the video where I pointed that out, and I was like, that kinda, I can read that now, I know a bit of Japanese, that definitely says Little Busters, so now I know that's definitely what it was. So that's kind of soured my idea of Let's Playing Little Busters. But at the same time, it's years later, maybe I could potentially get around to it. And I feel like even though it's more or less more the same, I haven't played through Red Little Busters in probably 9 years, maybe? I don't know. So it probably still, hit all the points and be like, the feels, man. So that could be neat. The only issue I'd have with it is, even if without the copyright strike, aside from all those years ago that's no longer even there, there's also, there's a big copyright claim on probably every single part. And that doesn't annoy me because, oh no, you can't monetize the videos when that happens, because I have never monetized my own videos. Which is kind of shocking, really. It's like, 10 years you've been doing this and you've never monetized your videos? Why? It's like, because I don't want to. Is there any other reason? I feel like an oddball when it comes to YouTube. So many people will just put ads all over their videos. Me, I'm like, nah. The only time I'd imagine there being ads on my videos is if it's been at a copyright claim. But anyways, I don't really mind it for that. I mean, I just feel kind of annoyed just seeing the copyright claim there under the video. And the fact that some copyright claims can, have certain bit more to it, where it'd be like, okay, audio muted, that would suck. Video blocked in multiple countries, that would doubly suck. Both of them definitely doubly sucked if they were both at the same time. It'd make no sense. And then there's the copyright strike thing, which I think if I Let's Play Little Busters, it'd probably just be copyright claim on every part, but it'd just be down to can't monetize the video, which I don't really give a shit about anyway. But those ones lingering in the dark where I'm like, oh, but what if my video gets blocked in multiple countries, or it gets muted or something, you know, shit like that. But I might get around to Little Buster someday. I'm pretty sure it's on Steam these days, which is nice, I suppose. Makes it a lot easier to get. Same with Planet, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, just thought I'd get that off my chest because I was it was on my mind for about an hour or two while I was trying to sleep last night, and I was like, oh god, okay, I'll freaking talk about it in an update video or in the Higurashi recording, just freaking get this off my chest. So yeah, the point of all that is, you know, the next Let's Play on this channel is uncertain at this point. Undecided, maybe this will be the final Let's Play for the VN channel, but at the same time, there's, you know, probably unlikely. I'd probably still, you know, go on to another Let's Play. It's like this channel has had a more relaxed schedule over the years, so it's just, you know, genuine disinterest, I suppose, if that's the right word I'm looking for, when it comes to visual novels, because they're all following the same theme and it's kind of boring. Which is why I kind of like Higurashi and shit like that, because it's got a different thing going on with it. It's not the same kind of bullshit. I mean, it kind of is when you think about it. The Higurashi series is all about that repetitive nature of repeating events throughout the series. But it's a different kind of, you know, shit, essentially. So, it works. It works out. So anyways, now that I've got that off my chest, let's actually freaking get on with the story. Well, the fragments of this story. When I said the death of Satoko Hojo is required, it's like, well, that would kind of defeat the point of all this, wouldn't it? You'd be like, we're supposed to be putting together everything so that, you know, we get the perfect scenario. Can't have a perfect scenario if one of the characters dies. Being much, there's an opportunity. Nope, I haven't got that. Okay, that one. Oh. So, we can go straight to that one. Let's have a look what else we got. Wait, what? That's a bit confusing. Yeah, let's go with the second sacrifice. Satoshi-kun is a good brother who takes great care of his sister. He went to visit Satoko-chan straight after school and kept encouraging her to get better every day. But even here in Satoshi-kun's stories, it's obvious to me that Satoko-chan never had a good relationship with her step-parents. She especially didn't get along with her stepfather. Satoko-chan even called a child abuse hotline once. Not only that, her parents ended up dying in an accident, so she just wasn't able to withstand all that damage. Satoko-chan is still very strong, very young, so everything must have been horrible for her to go through. Fortunately, she has a wonderful brother. Emotional wounds are hard to heal, but nothing heals those wounds. It does that a few times. I remember pausing it. It's just like a bunch of numbers or letters or some shit. I don't know, maybe it's like a loading thing. It's like loading next text, and then it's like, oh fuck, we forgot to... It's just like, yeah, we didn't fix that when we were putting it all together. But nothing heals those wounds better than love from family members. Kind of like back in the day when I Let's Play Planet, and they'd have that kind of message where it's like, make a thicket about it or some shit. It's just like, yeah, that's probably not supposed to be there. I'm sure that one day Satoko-chan will be able to smile again. She's still in shock, but when she talks to Satoshi-kun, she smiles a little bit. She's from the police department keeps requesting to see her, but I think I need to protect her for just a little longer. While he's passionate about his job, I wish he'd be a touch more sensitive. If he reminds her of her parents' accident, her emotional wounds will start to open again. That's the one point I worry about with Satoko-chan. I heard someone knocking on the door. It was Takano-san. Doesn't look right wearing a nurse uniform like that. She's a licensed doctor, so she should wear a white coat and act like one. Maybe this is fun for her, but I think she might be insulting the real nurses. I didn't say anything, though. Dr. Irie, may I talk to you? Oh, yes, well, Satoshi-kun, if you'll excuse me. Sure. I don't remember what voice I gave Satoshi. Hello, Satoshi-kun, please keep Satoko-chan company. She's always alone, so I bet she's lonely, okay? That's not true. Okay, Satoshi-kun, you're in charge. I got up and let Satoshi-kun take over. Did something happen? Not right here. Let's go to your office. Dr. San smiled meaningfully. Usually smiles bring happy feelings, but when it comes to the Dr. San, that's rarely the case. Are you sure? Yes, the initial test results show there's a possibility she's at L3 or above. We need to keep her here and run some more tests. The results aren't in yet, but from what I can see, it's very possible that she's at L4. Was the maximum level of it L5? That's damn high, man. Dr. San's eyes sparkled in a weird way. There's a reason for that. For us, finding patients in the terminal stage is so valuable a boon to our research. In fact, as a result of dissecting the murder suspect from last year, we've made great progress in our research. Man, that must have been quite the experience. Now, can you imagine? I mean, I don't know, maybe there has been. I'm not sure. Has there been like a live-action film adaptation of Higurashi? I feel like there might have been, but I'm not sure. But man, I could just picture that scene. But at the same time, it's like, you feel like, an adaptation, like, it's like, for example, I was thinking the other day, actually, I say the other day was, I think yesterday, in fact, I was like, thinking it's like Clock Tower, the original Clock Tower. That actually has a plot that could fit a movie, like a horror movie, really well. It wouldn't be like the most amazing horror film, but it would work. It's very simple, straightforward. You got 4 orphans. They go to an orphanage to live with Miss Mary, and then shit hits the fan. Out comes Scissor Man, and yeah, that could, you could probably adapt it bit for bits, because there's only a few things to really focus on it. Be like, okay, how the characters get killed off, how the main character Jennifer comes across various things. It would do well if it was directed well and had some good special effects going on. That's the thing when you think about that. And getting back to Higurashi here, is be like an adaptation of stuff like this usually has kind of a bit of a cheaper feel to it, where it's like, no, we're not gonna put too much of a budget in this. We'll keep the effects very, underwhelming, because we're not gonna go too far with the budget on that, so it's kind of gonna look a bit kind of meh. That's the point I was trying to get across there. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. We also discovered that when the host dies, the pathogen melts away within a few hours. Once that happens, it's undetectable. I wonder, actually, I just said that about Clock Tower, but for all I know, maybe that did get a film adaptation. Because that does seem like the perfect... if you're gonna, do a movie adaptation of any horror game, that's gotta be one of the easiest ones you could probably do. The plot's right there, man. It's very simple. At least in my mind, it seems very simple. I'd imagine, if someone did try to make it into a film adaptation, they'd fuck it up somehow anyway, but it seems like it'd be simple enough to put together. That's why we never found the pathogen when we performed autopsies. Our research made a lot of progress after that. What we found in this past year has easily surpassed what the late Dr. Tugner found in decades. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as treatments and vaccines. In other words, a living specimen who is at the terminal stage is a necessity for our research. However, we rarely find a patient who's gone that far, who's reached L5. Henry syndrome once created huge numbers of L5 patients, but today it doesn't have such potency. We huge numbers of L5 patients. What the hell does that even mean? I mean, is that just like, more people back there? I mean, that doesn't really... It's just... Maybe it's just the wording. Because L5 is the final stage of it. When, like, someone infected with Higurashi syndrome, gets overly paranoid to the point where their paranoia gets to an insane degree and they end up clawing their own throat out and shit like that. But, it's the way it's worded there, it's like, oh yeah, some people in Higurashi are born at L5, don't you know? It wouldn't make any sense. Because of that, we have to secure L5 patients or patients who are close to reaching L5 as quickly as possible. It obviously means, like, people that just, reach that level rather than, generally be in that level. Like, Satoko is not naturally at L3 or 4. It's because of all the events around her and all that's, like, stressed her out and caused her, caused it to rise and her to, kind of, yeah. Satoko-chan possibly qualifies to be that next sacrifice. You know what, now that I think about it, I've only just come to realize this. That's probably why Takano is all like, oh yeah, the curse of Oishiro-sama and the sacrifice and all that. Because she freaking knows about the deaths. So, yeah. That's a thought I don't think I've ever really come to realize, is like how Takano actually knows about that all along. And how that comes into context with how she refers to the curse of Oishiro-sama. It's kind of interesting. Because, the first victim ended up on their freaking dissection table, I suppose. Keep this strange disease a secret. We can't let patients who may be at L5 go. We have to run more tests first, then we'll figure out what to do next. In any case, Satoko-chan seems so calm. Her behavior is nothing like the man from last year. Initial tests are in error sometimes. We'll have to wait for the results of more detailed tests to determine how serious her condition is. Then it'd be like, yeah, we'll get your results in a month. 1 month later, it's just like, okay, so how's the patient? Dead. How? Well, they went into L5 like a couple of days later. What the fuck was taking so long with the test, you idiots? Okay, let's admit her for our observation. Please let the staff know to get things ready. That sounds like a formal answer, but if the results come back positive, that will be the green light for her dissection. I don't know Satoko-chan that well, but I've known her brother Satoshi-kun for the baseball team for a long time. It's weird, really, because, through most of the series, we've seen that he really cares a lot about Satoko, but then we see, how, it was Satoshi that he, got to know first. Kinda interesting. How could I dissect the apple of Satoshi-kun's eyes? I can feel scary images flashing in my head for the first time. Don't worry, everything's already taken care of. She smiled as if telling me that the dissection has already been prepared for, too. Is it just her who's smiling? Am I smiling like her, too? When I dissected that man last year, I did feel guilt beforehand. But once I started, it was like I was in paradise. What? All the pieces of the puzzle that were left by the late Dr. Takano fell into place, and at the same time they didn't. How exciting it was. Knowing that we are the first ones to take the first steps to solve a mystery, that is. You have blood on your hands, Doctor. It's like, well, no shit, he's a doctor, yeah, but, not, the usual blood. This is like, you just pretty much murdered that guy. Don't even know how to explain this feeling to those who have never experienced it. There's no way to describe it with words. The only thing I can say is that even a year later, I still remember it vividly. Yeah, I'd imagine it wouldn't be able to get rid of an image like that in your mind very easily. So if the results show that Satoshi-kun's beloved sister is to be dissected, can I control myself? Can I stay calm? but that means I'm a failure of a human being. I know very well that the whole of your family was treated poorly by the villagers, and I know what Satoko-chan had to go through. Also, I know Satoshi-kun loves his sister, who is his one and only blood relative. How can I dissect Satoko-chan using my research as an excuse? I didn't feel much guilt for the man from last year, but I feel unbearable guilt towards Satoko-chan. That means what I did last year was very sinful. I don't care if a stranger dies, but I don't want Satoko-chan to die. That's not right. All lives are equally precious. All lives are equally precious, he says, after saying he doesn't care if a stranger dies, but Satoko-chan, that's a different scenario. I tried to convince myself that he was a violent murderer. Maybe he only became that way because he was at the terminal stage. I don't know anything about him before he became deranged. Maybe he was a model citizen who was worthy of respect. Unfortunately, he became ill and ended up doing what he did. Maybe he was a victim himself, just like my father. I know more about Henmizawa syndrome than anybody. Disease makes people act in bizarre ways. That there's people realizing it. So when the people at the terminal stage do such strange and violent things, one should be sympathetic. I already knew that back when I decided to go down this path. I should have remembered it sooner, but I only did it just now. I finally realized what sinful research I'm working on. Soka Hojo's detailed test results came back. The results say L5. Oh shit. She's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage. The terminal stage of the terminal stage? What the fuck does that mean? It's actually a surprising result. The terminal stage of the terminal stage? What's that mean? In last year's case, the patient was extremely deranged. According to Dr. San's records, he complained about itching coming from the lymph nodes all over his body and wanted to claw out his own throat, just as the late Dr. Darkner mentioned. But Satoko-chan isn't displaying such symptoms. Even in the late Darkner's data, throat clawing is said to be a characteristic symptom of terminal stage patients. However, not all patients experience that symptom. Besides, emotional expression is very different in each person. Even if it's the same emotion, one patient may express it rather violently, and another may express it calmly. There's no way of knowing by just looking at a person. But Satoko-chan's detailed test results says that she's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage L5. That's so weird. She's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage L5. In other words, she may be feeling what the man from last year was feeling. It's just that she isn't expressing that feeling in the same way the man was. Mizawa syndrome affects the frontal lobes of the brain. Stimulates the most primitive of emotions, doubt, very strongly. As a result, terminal patients are trapped in delusions and paranoia and end up committing horrible crimes. Satoko-chan seems to show improvement when she's exchanging friendly words with Satoshi-kun. But there's a paranoia stirring inside her that may put her in a deranged state at any moment. I guess Satoshi is kind of like the, I don't know, like the one that's keeping her sane. Even if it's only just on the very edge of, insanity. I can't let her leave the clinic like this. However, if things go according to the manual, I will have to make a decision on her dissection. My decision will only be a formality. I can't actually refuse. Dr. Stan appears to be already working on a dissection schedule. That plan will then come to me. Will I feel the same way while dissecting Satoko-chan? Will I be able to experience that trance once again? No. The question is, can I fight the temptation? As I pretend to question myself, I'm letting Dr. Stan prepare things on her own. By doing so, I am passively agreeing to Satoko-chan's dissection. If possible, I want to save Satoko-chan. I don't want her to be a sacrifice for this research. I don't want to dissect her. Then, what about the man from last year? Do I only care about the lives of the people I know? If I don't dissect her, do I let her live and leave the clinic? Do I simply wait for her to become deranged and commit a horrible crime? And then she'll end up here, just like the man from last year, and I'll end up dissecting her anyway. The man from last year was dissected alive, and kept that way for several months. Wait. Did they actually keep him alive for several months while they did that? That's even worse than I thought, if that's the case. With his skull left open, he wasn't allowed to die for several... Oh my god, they really did. Several months. He's kept alive just for cruel experiments. I don't want to do that to her. I don't know what to do. Even debating and agonizing over it is leading towards consent to her dissection by elimination. That's fucked up. Yeah, I just expect the tips to just pop up. It's like, you've got new tips. But that's not the case here, because it's freaking fragments instead. Right, so, yeah, that one is probably next. So let's go with that. Oh, wait, it can't be connected yet. You what, mate? Smash! Well, so much for that. Well, we haven't got help from Rika yet, so that one's a no-go. Actually, what about the first one? Yeah, that one. Now we can finally do that. Or not. W! Okay, I'm not really sure on that one. I think maybe this one's unlocked. No, we haven't got the third year yet. What's that? Nope. 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 I don't think that one's been... I mean, it could be unlocked, but I don't know. We haven't really heard about him dying. This one we can do. Nope. No, we haven't got that. I think we might actually have that one. Let's go with what's the nearest one. Let's try this one. Oh, maybe not. Okay, that one's still locked. Let's do this one. This one's definitely unlocked.